Jenny with On Fire Fit, and welcome to another episode of High Heel Hallelujah. Today is going to be a throwback day, so I'm going to talk about a testimony, and it is one that I love because when I think back to it, I just go, man, God was with me, and it is so obvious. But first, let's look at the shoes. Okay, these shoes are another gift from my husband, who happened to be helping the Easter Bunny one year. They ended up in an Easter basket for me, but I love the little crisscross, and I don't know how to pronounce the name of the guy who designed these. I'll try to put that in the comments. But yeah, I love them. They're easy to walk in. And I've had them for, oh, I don't know, maybe 5 years or so, but love the nude color, very versatile. They go with a lot. Okay, so many of you know that I am a physician assistant and I have been doing medicine for 21 years. Back when I first got started, I did family medicine and urgent care. And around about the time that I had kids, I decided that it would be better for me to transition over to a different department that wouldn't leave me at work till who knows what hour, because so many times I would end up overtime, long extra hours, depending on what happened with patients. And it was difficult because when you have to get back to your kids and pick them up and things, that was too tricky. So I went into a department that was a lot less stressful, I should say, and not really as urgent, okay? So that was cool, but there was a period of time where I thought, I do need to keep my skills up, so I'm gonna work in the urgent care a little bit here and there. Now, if you don't know the medical field or whatever, each department is run differently. There's a whole process of learning how things flow and how you do certain things. And I had not actually worked in this particular urgent care before. And so going up to work the day that I decided I was going to do urgent care, finally, after years and years of not having worked in there, it was a little stressful. You know, the night before was a little tossing and turning, and the concern that I would be able to manage everything. And I prayed on the way up there, and I would say this every time I would go up to work, and my mom would pray, Lord, give me favor. Give me favor with the people I work with and with those that I come in contact with. Help me to make wise decisions and really just to be able to handle whatever comes my way. Well, I got there, and the way that they had scheduled to have the various doctors work was basically one started at 8:30, one started at 9, one started at 9:30, and so on. And I was the first one to start. So that meant nobody else was there except for the nurses and the line of patients going out the door. The other thing you have to know in medicine is the triage system, which you may have discovered when you go to the emergency room. So if you don't have a very emergency related issue, you kind of go to the back of the line. So they put all the worst cases up front. So what do I get when I walk in the door except for the worst cases? So I had a gentleman in one room who was elderly, having chest pain, so potentially a heart attack, and he spoke a language that nobody in the department spoke. That was in one room. Across from there was a patient in a room who was having trouble breathing. So I would consider these are both pretty equally difficult and also very emergent, and I'm the only one. So right off the bat, you get that rush of, oh boy, what am I up against here? I went in trying to stay very calm. Thank the Lord, stayed calm. Went in to see the gentleman who was not able to speak English, and I tried to have the system set up to be able to use the phone line, but our phone line wasn't working in that room. So while they're trying to work on that, I run over and make sure that the patient with the breathing issues is still doing okay. The nurse had been giving me a report, so I knew she was still okay, but that can turn for the worst quickly. So I'm bebopping back and forth between these rooms. And when I sat in front of this patient that had the other language, I could feel this strong desire to just leave the room and run out the back door. I hate to say it, and that's very embarrassing to be able to admit to, but I had that sense that I don't think this is a good idea. And it would just be so much easier if I just escaped from this place. But no, I said, God, I need you to get in the middle of this right now. And the craziest thing, I just got this swooping feeling down my body, and I felt calm. I took it very step by step. It was not at all stressful, and I felt the presence of God at that moment, and I knew I was okay. I walk out of the room. Now, no doctors have still arrived. I actually got there early, so I had started even before my shift started. And I walk out, and standing in the hall, leaning up against the wall, looking at me, is a retired doctor that I used to work with many years ago. And he just came back periodically to work extra shifts just because he enjoyed it. And he's standing there leaning up against the wall going, "Need any help?" And I looked at him and I said, "What are you doing here? You're not even supposed to get started for like another hour." And he goes, "Yeah, I showed up early and I thought you could use some help maybe." He didn't know I was working. He didn't know that I would need help. He didn't know who was on the list for doctors to work that day. And I was like, "You are my angel right now. Yes, I could use your help. I've got these 2 rooms with these 2 situations." So he stepped in, started to help handle one while I handled the other. And I knew beyond the shadow of a doubt that that was God. He shouldn't have been there. Doctors tend to be pretty busy and very focused on what they need to do. They've always been super wonderful with me as far as giving me assistance and helping me and mentoring me and everything. But they do have their own things they need to deal with. And they never just walk up and ask you if you need help. And God knew I needed that at that moment. So when you're in situations, when you're just in your day-to-day life, you have to remember, you have to notice those things, because God gives you those kinds of blessings. He knows what you need, and He provides what you need when you need it. And there have been times through all my years in just, let's say, in that arena of the medical field, where I had to struggle a little bit, but it's what made me grow. So it's not that God wasn't there, it's that He allowed me to struggle through some of that so that I would grow. But He also just pours out these little miracle blessings that make you just say, "You have promised you would never leave me or forsake me, and yet again, here you go, doing it again." So hold on to that. Know that God blesses us that way. These testimonies are a part of our heritage. My testimony is a part of your heritage in your life, just like yours is for me. So we need to hear these things, and I want you to be sharing those things with other people, because this is what gives us hope, catapults us forward into life, knowing that we've got God as our cheerleader, as our everything, our power, and He just takes us where we need to go, and He provides what we need when we need it. So I hope that that gives you some sense of encouragement for today. I thank you so much for being here with me for High Heel Hallelujah, and just go out and set that world on fire.